Okay, so I want to do this quick overview of Adobe Device Central CS5.5, and as you can see when you open up the program, there are a series of files that you can create within it, and with these you can start your project with whether it's After Effects, Flash, Photoshop, or whatever, and use Device Central to go back and see how it looks within the mobile world. And can be really useful for all sorts of different types of media projects. What I wanted to show today is briefly how to bring in web documents. And this is something that can be useful, especially for making web apps and just seeing how your website will be loaded onto one of these different devices. So first off, let me just go into File here and select the website I'm going to be looking at. And this website has a number of style sheets that are connected to it. This is the main style sheet, and then I have an iPhone style sheet and an iPad. Okay, and then I made a overall devices sheet that kind of imports them all for me. Okay, so here I'm going to start out with this one called Cosmic HTML. And what this is just a very basic HTML image with some Lorem Ipsum text and image, and that's about it. So you'll see the design isn't that great, but at least we'll get some basics about how to do this. Okay, so let me open this up. Okay, so here you see I have a very basic site, a very meaningless site too, about what the content itself. But at least you have a few things that you can look at in this. Okay, and you can see very easily I can move this up and down to read the content, and this is actually being rendered within an iPhone 3GS simulator. Okay, so right now my style sheet is set for the width of this simulator, so it will respond depending on the width, and that's part of the media queries that I've set up in this. And I can make another tutorial talking about media queries, and please email me if you would like to see that sooner, because I have a few others I want to put up also. As you can see over here on the right with test devices, there are a number of test devices that are available. Some of these are flash players, different types of flash players, but also there are some phone simulators here. There's all sorts of ones we can use to look at this file. This is going to look a little funky in other devices, but let me just show you how this works, because I just have the style sheet set for a 320 width, which is the width of this iPhone 3GS. Okay, so if we go into this browse, though, we can see all the different devices that are available, and some of these are made by Adobe or certified by Adobe, and then others are made by the community. Okay, and the way normally though I look at this is I start with the Adobe ones just to kind of drill down what's available, and then I go into the community to see if there's something else that would be available too. And you can see in of the types we have the name, and then the type of things that it will play. So if you want to use Flash Player on this one would take it. And then the width of display. Now this width of display for doing web work is really important for your creating your style sheet for how wide the display will be called. Okay, and I'll show you how that looks on this as we go to larger and smaller devices. And let me just grab an iPad to show you how the look of my file will change a little bit. So what you can do for any of these is just drag it over to the devices and drop it, and it will load it in. And then you can see I have a number of devices set right here. Then what we can do is go back to Emulate Web. Okay, so right now let me just select the one that I want to use. Okay, and you can see it gives you a ton of information about this device and how it was made, and the creator of the device template. Okay, so with this one selected, and you see that it's selected there, I go back to Emulate Web, and you can see now this one is skinned for a wider screen. As you can see, I haven't really finished off this particular query, so I have some margin issues with my text. But you can see here we can flip back and forth between these very nicely to kind of test out how it would look within a device.